We're going to press record.
There we go. Full screen, and then how do I press record? Oh, I guess we press record and then go into full screen.
Either
Yeah.
one. Well, I press record on Streamlabs, but I guess you have one monitor, right? So that's the issue.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. So I'm now recording on Streamlabs,
Sweet. I'm recording on
and
Streamlabs.
and then I'm full screen. Here we go. Okay, cool. So now I'm just gonna turn my mouse off. So Derek, show me your shoes again.
All
And
right,
actually,
right,
let's start over. What are you going out for, and why are you looking so sharp, Derek?
right. So we decided to start recording again because everything is content, and we're just hanging out, and if we might use it, we might not.
Hey, Derek, do you know how everything's a spring?
Everything's a spring.
Everything is also content.
This content is spring. But yeah,
Content is a spring because they're both everything.
but I'm going to a St. Paul and the Broken Bones concert. I've never seen them live, right? One of my friends, Rao, put me on the band about a year ago, and she told
I
me
think oh,
best band
I
she's
think
ever
you're in
seen.
for a treat.
You're familiar.
So I love St. Paul and the Broken Bones. And they're kind of, for those of you who don't know, St. Paul and the Broken Bones is kind of like a blues. What did you just
Kind
call
of
it? It's like kind of
modern
like a
funk.
blues rock
Yeah,
punk. Nah, it's not really punk. It's
it's like
like I would
funk,
call it like
like
blues funk.
yeah,
Yeah, kind of blues funk.
retro funk, I guess maybe.
And there's just like so much soul in it. Like
Yeah,
you can hear it in his voice. He's just like, oh, it's just
he's
there's
got
so
like
much
a
energy.
Nathaniel Ratecliffe kind of vibe to him,
He
as far as
does. He
another modern
does.
artist. But if you weren't paying attention to what they're talking about, you think you're listening to something from like the '70s, right? Maybe the
Yeah, but
'80s.
but there's just oh my god, just his voice and the band is phenomenal, of
Yeah.
course. But the main vocalist has just got such a powerful, such a like just deeply soulful voice. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to if we are gonna do what did you say you wanted to call this if we do ever post them?
I was thinking like maybe the unsprung spring or the uncoiled spring, or we got
Uncoiled
to kind of
Spring.
tie in spring somewhere in here.
Yeah. I'm gonna go turn
Something
my
like that.
audio capture down just a bit because I think my mic's a little hot and I'm about to start crinkling bags. But yeah, this is kind of just a post show, like yeah, anyway, to get on point, I was showing Jim my fit because I never do like fashion and stuff. I decided to try, and I would be amiss. I did let like when people have a boring job like retail or something, and it's just really exciting when someone comes in with just like, hey, like get me done good. Like you sit here looking at clothes all day, make me look good, and they did. So I got a new pair of shoes because one, I just needed another pair, and also I love this color, right? So this is some Nikes. I'm sure they have a name, but it's like this peach kind of orange.
It's like yeah, like the leather, like the natural leather with the black leather.
Oh, I mean, they just called out to me, so they built the entire, simple fit around that. So I have those, and they won't be my work shoes. Those would be like my going out shoes, because I have so
Yep,
many pairs of work shoes. I was like, I should have one that I try to keep nice.
absolutely.
Um, you're gonna like this, I think, Jim. Classic movie. Let me move this out the way a little bit. I think it'll compress me.
Oh yes, Scarface.
I know
Say
graphic
hello to
tees,
my little
right?
friend.
And like the orange in that with the shoes, I thought was like
Yeah, that's a
clean.
great pair. Absolutely.
No one would
I
know.
have no fashion expertise
Me
at
neither.
all.
But here's my thought, right? If we're eventually gonna have to try to get back into the dating world, which sucks, but I might as
Oh
well
Jesus.
look good doing it, right?
Heck yeah, dude. I think that's like the most important part from what I understand.
Right? Because like, here's the thing: anyone who likes us as people, like just as someone who knows you, right? You're gonna have to like us at our what we look like when we're working, because that's what I look like most of
Yep,
the time. Like for example, I
that's
got a
facts.
haircut today. I'm glad we did
Oh,
this episode this week because I was
you're
looking
looking
rough.
sharp, buddy. You're looking sharp. Got that fade going on?
Dude, my barber does the
Turn
Lord's
your head to
work.
the side for us, buddy. Look at that. Look at that sharp. Oh,
Cause
you look
like
good,
I
bud.
was really self conscious about my facial hair because I was always around you, right? And you have this very your beard grows naturally very thick, right? After years, it finally kind of filled out to the point where I don't hate it, and like
It looks great.
it
Honestly, it
connects,
looks
and like
great.
I feel good,
Yep. I think like
And I got
yeah,
some
like
ripped jeans to pretend to be cool
oh,
for a day.
Nice, nice. Oh, I got the pre-distressed jeans.
Yeah, I
Derek,
have right.
what have you become?
No, here's the thing. I have so many nice pairs of jeans because I'm like, these are work jeans, you know. They're
Yeah,
comfy, they stretch. I
absolutely.
was like, here's a pair that's just for looking good, you know. But yeah,
Absolutely. That's phenomenal.
I
Good
have
stuff. So then
I
I,
have an expensive hoodie now. I'm
yeah,
cheap hoodie.
dude.
I get my hoodies from like Costco or like Walmart.
Oh, dude, the Kirkland hoodie.
It lasts for years, man. They've
Mint.
outsourced recently. They don't use the same like
They don't use Kirkland brand anymore?
it's like you will find hoodies that are as good, right? But it's a different brand. Every time I go, it's a different
Ah,
brand, you know?
interesting.
If they still have the Kirkwood hoodies and you ever see one, I will Venmo you for a Kirkwood hoodie. I'm sure I could
I'll
probably
keep an
buy it on the app, right?
I'll keep an eye out.
That's the last thing
Oh,
I need to buy is more hoodies. I'm a quintessential person that works in the data world, wears black hoodies at home while I work
perfect.
because they're comfy and they're
Perfect.
cheap.
Oh my gosh, what a time. Yeah, so then I was showing Derek my new shoes,
Oh yeah, I
which
like these a
is
lot.
which for me, so these are like Pumas or whatever. And I got these because I've actually started going to the gym recently,
Oh,
Derek.
you getting them gains?
Getting them gains. Hashtag get swole 2023. Uh,
Get swole.
it's finally happening. Right? So the Get Swole 2016 has come to this point now. It's Get Swole 2023, and
We
I'm
say it
actually
every
going to a
year.
gym pretty regularly. So I'm going Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Excuse me, Monday, Wednesday. No, I'm going Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
There you go.
Um,
In your
yes.
defense, your job, like before at least, when you were doing like custom makes, you were like swinging a hammer most of the day.
Oh
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
were
I mean,
getting at least one arms workout.
yeah. So I live a pretty active lifestyle. So I think I never really have been. I've never really like felt the need to go to the gym, but it's been fun. And but for the longest time, I've got my boots, and that's basically it.
Yeah, like
you know,
I'm a functionality guy. Like, is for example, the
absolutely.
only thing I really spend money on, released in the last few years, has been technology, right?
Yeah.
Like we bought, the stuff to start up with the podcast, right? But besides that, I hadn't been spending much money, like
No,
groceries,
pretty
because
tight.
those are really expensive now. I don't know about
Yeah.
down where you live, but
It's not as bad, I think, really, because like we're right next, like all the farms are like right here,
oh,
So
so it's
like it's
less like logistical cost.
there's a lot less logistical cost to get it to us, but I mean it is still expensive, more expensive than it has been.
You're right. The
Um,
lighting in that room is actually really good for if we ended up doing
yeah.
video. I need to
So
get an
yeah, so
actual webcam.
I've got these two, and I'm just running my webcam on my laptop, which I'm
Ooh.
sure is of terrible
It
quality.
looks pretty good
Um,
on the compression over Discord.
I mean, so it looks pretty decent, I think. I think I'm getting a little bit washed out here on my face, but I've got these two windows. I've got the shades pulled, and it's a little bit of an overcast day today, so you can see like the sun's brightening up a little bit now. But it throws, and like all the walls in this room are like kind of this off-white color, so it just bounces light really well. And I think it makes this really good light. And then it's got like the perfect like what's this called? It's like the lighting is coming from kind of one
It's a
side, so
little offset.
yeah, it's like a little bit of an offset lighting. So it's just this, it's just hilarious. Like I think it's a great lighting setup. And then I've got like the main light in the room over here. So I've got this like
Oh, there you go.
natural 2 point light setup.
You're getting good. You're all good
Uh,
until it starts raining, Because I
I
figured
know, right?
if it's
Oh
ever
my
like
gosh.
raining,
And I've
I
got
think
like
we
a
should
tin
still
roof.
record.
I think so
I
too.
think we should
But
still
yeah, so I've
record.
got like a tin roof here. So the rain is loud. The rain is pretty loud here.
Maybe that's the day we just do a like ASMR episode.
Oh, it's just like, hello,
And welcome to the
welcome
podcast.
to Everything is a Spring podcast.
This is Uncoiled and Unplugged.
Welcome to the unsprung spring,
Every spring
where the
has its sprung.
where the where the sproingans go sproing and the boingers go bounce.
Now, you can never boing too much. Yeah, it writes itself. It writes itself.
You
I
can
do
never
need to get an
boing too much.
external because I'm looking at you on my monitor. So I know you're just getting the side of my face, but let's be honest.
Oh my god.
It's what the people want.
The people want Derek, I will say this. I think you are one of the most handsome gentlemen that I
Come
know.
on, man.
And yeah, the people do want this. The people want to see your face. I think we oh my gosh. It would just be Derek, I don't think we'd have to jump into the dating scene. We would just have bitches fleeing themselves at us.
I feel like a video podcast. That's a totally different line of because you know me, Jim. I'm a quality guy.
Yeah,
I know you are too,
absolutely.
right? So
I
it's like
love me equality.
I would this for the post show, perfect. That makes it's fine,
Right.
right? But if we actually wanted to do it, I can put it down. I'll produce it if you want it done.
Hey man, I think it'd be amazing. I would say like because we're just like getting started with the podcast, I feel like we're still kind of feeling out the rhythm of everything's a spring.
Yeah.
And so like I don't want to throw too much into it at once,
Yeah, what do they call it
you know?
in films? Like a hat on a hat, like when you start doing
Yeah,
too much.
I don't know what that would be called, but like you're wearing too many hats at once,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah,
So like I want to see like let's kind of like establish the podcast, and then we can kind of start thinking about video because I think there would be like some nice benefits to like having the video because we could have again like we could have like screen share and we
dude,
could
that'd be
have
cool.
like diagrams and stuff like this.
Or maybe that's
But
like
like I
our
think that
special. Like maybe instead of doing that
oh
every
yeah we
time,
could
if we get to like
we do
50
that like once a
episodes,
month or something like that,
yeah,
yeah,
that'd be cool.
or like once a quarter or something like
And
that. That'd
like
be kind
those
of
are the
fun.
ones like you have to go visit us on YouTube if you want to see
Yeah,
the good
check.
stuff.
Yeah, it's like, hey, welcome to the audio only version of the Edit Everything's a Spring podcast for the full experience where you can see our beautiful faces and our wonderful, diagrams and explanations of these
Yeah,
things. Check us out on our YouTube channel. And then we just drop that plug at the beginning
that would be
of
cool.
the
But
episode.
I do want to like
Um,
cater to the folks that can't, like I think about when I listen to podcasts personally. We were talking about, I was we. It wasn't planned, but when I was on the way to the vortex, I keep saying the vortex, to vortex, right? It's
nah, it's the Vortex.
is it
There's
really?
only one.
I
Well,
think
I don't
there's
know.
two now.
There are
There's
two.
two in
There are two.
Atlanta. I've only been to
It's like
the main one.
it's like the varsity kind of a thing
Yeah,
at this point,
there's the
right? But like
varsity.
to
Yeah,
me, like it'll always be the
yeah,
vortex, right? It's
that's where I
just
go.
like 'cause
It's nice.
that's where it is. Absolutely. We
It's
don't
where it's
need the
at.
second location. What is
What is
that?
that?
Get that out of
Who
here.
needs that? But no, yeah, we were going to the vortex. I was listening to a podcast on the way there.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
I had known the irony of like we go there, have lunch, and then decide to start a show, which personally has been a dream of mine. I don't care if it's an audio show. I don't care if it's me just reading the news at like 4 in the morning for NPR, like PBS.
Yeah.
It's always
I
been
think
a
it's just
dream.
fun. Oh my gosh. It's been so much fun. I've been really enjoying it.
It's something to look
So
forward to because at first I was really stressed out, like from the editing side. But I think not to spoil the episode, right? Because they haven't watched it yet. It hasn't even been produced. I think our audio quality is just skyrocketed from episode 1 to 2. I genuinely do.
I'm excited to see because like like how that new software helps us out. Because that would be great. Because I could definitely like tell when I listened back to it, I was like, my voice a little bit less crunchy.
Right, I had to like
Um,
give it a little bit more, and I think now our levels are going to be kind of similar, so I don't jump scare them as much. Because I have a pretty, I don't have the deepest voice, but it does carry
right.
some bass.
Oh yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Yeah.
these
Yeah.
mics don't pick up low end that well, right? Compared to
Okay.
like I call you called it the Joe Rogan mic, but yeah, the SM7B that everybody on YouTube has. This is like its baby brother, because
Okay.
we're not made of money. We're not
We
made
are
of
not.
money.
We are not made of money.
No,
Although
it's
I
a four
guess
hundred dollar mic.
at a certain point, right? Like if this does become like more of a business thing, it's tax to write off.
Here's my
May as
thought, right?
well.
We let if the people like the content, the people will pay for it. You will eventually we'll
Exactly.
have a sponsor. We'll have ads. You know,
Yeah, sure.
yeah,
And then again, like I'm not really fussed about monetizing
right.
this. Like
It
to me,
it could not be monetized forever if we just
the
wanted
whole
to.
point is hanging out with Derek.
I'm
Like
doing
this
it
is the
now.
whole point of hanging out with my buddies.
Yeah,
So
man, and
we
I'm
can do
excited to
that
get some
for
of
a
our other
pretty cheap
friends on.
budget.
Like I know that's
Oh,
something
me
you've
too.
talked about offline, but in case this does
Hmm.
get posted at some point, like we know, like a lot of engineers. Some of our friends are engineers. I know a couple
Yep.
biologists that great folks, and I'd love to have if we have like themed episodes. Can you imagine like
I
getting
think it'd be
Kasha
great.
on for an air disaster? Getting Matt on
Yeah.
for like civil engineering, even not a disaster, like talk about big buildings and like how you
How you build
successful,
those? Like,
like the
how do
Burj
you
Khalifa, the Empire State Building, something like that.
absolutely? I think that'd be great. And maybe I mean too, because like we've talked about like we kind of have this little mini series going on about these like excuse me like tank failure disasters with
Yeah,
weird fluids.
it's like a theme.
Um,
weird
We kind of have like,
thoughts
yeah,
is
we
what
have
I
kind of like
call
this
it.
little
You know,
mini, we have this mini, what do you call it? We have like kind of this mini series
tank
going on.
busters.
Tank Busters. Welcome to Everything's a Spring, Tank Busters.
Ting, ting,
And
ting,
then,
ting.
yeah, so, oh, it's got like the rivets.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
got the rivets.
we got the intro video ready to go. Oh my gosh, that'd be
See, it's
amazing.
like
And
endless
then
creativity with this platform.
it
You know, you can
is,
use whatever you want
it
to.
is. But yeah, like maybe we could bring in Kasha for like our series on aviation, or we could bring in Matt for a series about bridges, or we could bring in, whoever, right?
Yeah.
And just that'd be fun. That'd be so
Yeah,
much
and
fun.
I think after a certain point, we're gonna realize, like, oh, okay, I feel like once we start trying to put stuff into a series and we can't, that's just the end of that mini
That's
series
the
for
end of the
now.
series.
And if
Yeah,
we
we're just
later want to do an episode that's adjacent, boom, that's a episode 71's a part of 1 and 2. Surprise.
yep.
They're not gonna listen in order. If we have 100 episodes, because it's weird to think about now, 2 weeks in, right?
Oh yeah.
It's weird
No,
to think
but
about.
like yeah, if I listen to podcasts that have more episodes in the backlog, and I'm just like, I just don't have time to
Yeah,
like go back and listen to them all.
no.
Even though I would like to.
And you know how
So
the
I think it is.
algorithms work? Folks will see stuff when it's more relevant. Like, I hate to say
That's
it, if
true.
there was a tank disaster or flood, people are going to start looking up things like the Great Molasses Flood or this, what we talked
It's
about
related.
today. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because
Especially
it's
with the
related.
YouTube algorithm. I was shocked. Folks are actually watching it on YouTube. Like, not many, don't
Are
get me
they
wrong.
really?
Like 5 or 6 people more than the Spotify.
I have to look this up.
Yeah. Well, because like every now, I had to tell YouTube to stop telling me when things happened. Because it's just
Yeah,
hilarious.
like quit pestering me.
Yeah, it's like let it grow on its own because like we know
That's so
anything with
funny.
less than like thousands of views is not going to get carried by the algorithm for any reason, you know.
That's true. Everything is a spring. Oh, there's a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, you have to
I
make
get.
sure it's the
Is it
apostrophe.
everything's a spring
Everything's, yeah, because that was
with a spring?
less letters. It
Here we
kind of
go.
slips off
Found
the
it.
tongue too.
Everything's a spring podcast. Look at that. We got 6 views.
Yeah, there you go. Like I was like, no one's gonna watch it on YouTube because we're advertising it on Spotify, right? So it's like,
Yeah,
how did
yeah.
you even
And
find
again,
this?
like there's not really like any
We come up on Google now. If you type in
oh, do we
everything's a
really?
spring, yeah, it's the first thing that popped
Yeah.
up. Last week it was like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but now I guess it's established of enough brand. Also, I did some research before we chose the name. Like, I don't think anyone has this as a branded thing. So dibs.
Yo, shout out. That's awesome. I think it's great.
I think it's a great name. Like you came for reference, he came up with that. We're at lunch, and we were talking about we were talking about something about compressive forces, right? And you were talking
I
about
think
how
we were talking about the Titan submersible.
yes, which should be an
Yes.
episode in itself, personally.
I almost don't want to cover it.
You
Like
think it's too
honestly,
mainstream or
it
too much?
well, I think there's two things.
Hmm.
First, I think everybody's kind of already talked about it.
It's too late now.
Um, it's kind of too late, and we're also like we're like way behind the ball. Now what we might be able to do is like when they come out with some like the official like engineering report,
Ew.
basically,
Oh, that'd be fun to
then
go through.
we might talk about it then.
Would the NTSB
Because
do subs or is it someone else?
you don't remember what
Because
the
that's international
body
waters.
is.
It's probably the
Well, but
Coast Guard, right?
yeah, I think I can't remember. Somebody is doing an official like uh analysis on it.
Dude.
I don't remember who it is. I want to say it's either the U.S. or Canada.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, so it's like a federal entity.
yeah, I think it's the Canadian government is
Good.
doing the analysis because the Titanic is pretty close to like Canadian waters. So I think that's where that is, but I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. I guess I can look it up. We have the power of
I
the
keep
internet.
forgetting, like, and I'm so used to in like previous pieces of media I've been a part of, right? You're not supposed to be on your phone. You know, I'm super conscious of like I have a light up, clicky clacker over here. So
Yeah,
I try not to like I'm quick on the mute button nowadays. Like I don't know if you saw me in the episode because what the viewer doesn't know, like me and Jim can see each other, but we're not editing a
right.
video podcast, right? Yet. So it's one of those. Like I will feel myself about to sneeze or like need to drink some water, and we have these nice mixers, a big old mute button right there, and it doesn't degrade the audio quality. It does not me clicking something that comes up, so it's really nice just to have. I
Yeah, just
think
to have it right there.
yeah, and honestly, for the viewer, like my upload to Drive to the cloud just finished. So I'm gonna start editing this, or like at least getting things set up, because I think
Yeah.
the way that we have it now, I only really need one of our OBS recordings to sync it, because that makes it like a lot quicker to just
Oh,
go
to do
over.
it because it's got both of
Right.
our streams and stuff, right?
The reason I changed it last week, I was sitting there and I clowned myself. I was like, okay, yeah, so you record me, yeah, I'll record you, but those aren't synced. So I was just having to figure out by context.
Whoops.
Like I asked you a question and then you like answered immediately. I was like, okay, put that together, and then by then you can lock your tracks and start editing. But I was like, I clown
Yep.
myself. I need both of them so I can
You need,
so I can
and this
sync.
is the kind of stuff we're just gonna learn it.
Dude,
So the
that's day one of film school and I failed.
here's the we're just figuring it out. That's the thing is like I feel like there's this illusion, right, where it's just like, oh, these people are putting a podcast together, so they must know what we're doing, and we have no idea.
We're
And like
professionals.
that's the funniest thing to me is like people will like, be like, Jim, do you know how to make this thing? And I'll be like, oh, we probably could make that. And they're like, have you ever done this before? I'm like, absolutely not.
Never even heard of it.
And like, I have no idea what I'm doing. We're figuring this out as we go.
No, then you
And,
put a
and like, I
couple
think,
blanks down and get the job done,
oh
you
my
know?
gosh, and like Derek, I think that's why like oh my gosh, I don't want to get into this too much. I don't want to come across as arrogant, but like
No, talk the truth,
I
man.
think I think that we are of the, so I would define if you had to put like Derek and I into a category of people, I would describe us as generally competent.
I could agree with generally competent, because that's not ego. That's just we've
Right?
worked
And
with
like
enough folks where we've seen less than generally competent.
yes. And so like I guess what I mean by that, right, is like we can
We
figure
figure it
stuff
out.
out.
Problem solving skills are checked. Like we got the checkbox.
Right? And like we're both pretty good at being generally competent.
Give me 1 second. 1 second.
Yeah, go for it. Oh my god. Bloop, 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 doo, 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 bloop, beep-a-doop, beep-a-doop.
Hey, sorry about that, mate.
Yeah, no problem. I just memed around while you were gone.
No, yeah. So
Um,
that side note, this is one of the reasons why it's like it would be really hard for me to do a video podcast at
oh,
this
because you gotta
point.
like jump out.
Yeah, like we've been lucky enough, like recording an hour ain't too bad, like of audio. Because worst case scenario, like I've tried not to do it, right? But if I absolutely have to go, because not to get too personal, but I do take care of one of my elderly grandparents like full time. So if I see something or hear something that's concerning, to be honest, you're not going to get any content until I know that they're safe, right?
No, that's absolutely understandable. And I
You
think
know
to
what
a
I mean?
certain extent, like, I don't think anyone's gonna have a problem with that.
I
You
figured
know,
as
like
much. It's just easier in an audio medium, right? Because like I'm
that's
editing the
true.
show.
Yeah, because like yeah, if we have like the like oh well, even with a video, like we can cut, and
Oh
it's just
yeah,
like,
but
hey,
it's just one of those things. Like most folks, when they think about video podcasts, like a more of a live thing. But
right, that's true. That's true. If
I
we
figured
wanted
my
to do a
situation,
live thing, that
right?
would be
Because
one.
if
Well,
my
but the other
situation
thing too,
changes and I can like find someone to cover for me, maybe I can go like we can go start trying to do this in person at some point,
mm,
or like
that'd be fun. Yeah, get you down here. We're both in the
a
same
little
room.
studio.
Oh, that'd be awesome. So actually, Adam, my business partner, he has like a podcast room set up.
Well, that's cool. He
So
does
if
podcast
you
too.
ever, he does. It's the Adam Sang podcast. So
Oh, that's cool.
shameless plug there for my boy Adam.
Nice.
But yeah, so like if you ever want to come down to Statesboro and like we want to do a podcast setup, like we already have all of the equipment
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
down here for that. It's we've got the cameras, the room is beautiful. We've got good quality microphones. I mean, so it is quite well set up. I think you would get along with Adam pretty well. Y'all have some pretty shared interest in like the video, audio,
Yeah, it sounds like we're like
recording type scenes.
same kind of old like freelancer film folks made something else but still know how to do this thing.
Yeah, well, to a certain extent, yeah. You got to come down and meet Adam at some point if you ever get if we can get you down here, that'd be phenomenal.
Yeah, travel's
Um,
been tough. Like I haven't even like been
yeah,
traveling for work, unfortunately, which I appreciate my company. Like I know I talk
yeah,
trash
being
about
able to like
corporations, but they're getting better. Like my company
they are.
rocks.
Well, it's all about the people that you work
My
with, right?
managers rock. Let me say that. My managers are
Yeah,
really understanding folks, and I think they've seen me work through some like really traumatic stuff and just still showed up even when
yeah,
someone our age
and
probably
like
wouldn't.
that's the thing, Derek. Too is like, you're such a like you just get out there and get it done,
You
right?
do
Like,
too, man.
and that's
Like what I think
but
about
like
you
that's
is
such a
like
valuable thing,
it's
right?
good in
Like,
any like field, right? The
yeah,
ability, it doesn't matter if you walk in knowing everything, it's can you learn from everyone around you or as many people
yep.
around you as worth learning from, right?
Yep. And can you like put it all together in like a competent, like
Right.
just dynamic, right? Like can you take all these disparate things
Mm-hmm.
and then like put it together, right? And like that's something that you excel at. Where it's just like, oh, let me, put this spreadsheet and that way like it just makes it easier, right? Like it just makes it so much easier for everybody
Yeah.
at the company, right? And so it's this kind of team player and this kind of willingness to get up and see something that could be optimized and then just going ahead and doing it as opposed to waiting for somebody to say, hey, can somebody do this?
Right, and
And
it's
then,
tough, right? Like to be in that position because, like you said, we're like Gen Z, we're unfortunately, but like we're young, right? We're used to technology. For me, some of the ways that companies do things, though proven, right, because it's been working for a long time, not the most efficient. Now, not the most safe. You're actually opening yourself up for like a critical failure.
yeah, like security breach or whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
and like our company's pretty good about it, but that's one of the things I've been working with some of our other like counterparts and sister like teams and organizations within the company because we're trying to get to that idealized state. Like if I think about what our company looks like at 2050, right? Even if I'm not there, what does the corporate structure look like and how does that data flow from point to point? Because I'm sure what
Mm.
you've seen and every organization goes through this at some point, your data ends up in silos. Like this, oh, accounting's over
Yeah.
here, HR is over here, finance is over here. I'm not saying everything needs to be in the same system. Absolutely not. But those systems have to at least be able
We
to
got to be able to talk
retrieve.
to each other.
Right. They
Yeah.
have to at
Yeah. You
least
got
be
to be
able
able
to
to talk
talk.
to each other.
But
Yeah.
that's something
Absolutely.
in the healthcare industry. I worked for a lot of companies a lot. I'm 25, not enough, right, to see how things work.
That would
But
be an interesting thing to actually bring Kelly into, right? So
oh,
Kelly,
the
one of our best
logistics.
friends, yeah, he like worked in. I think he still works in logistics and like
Mhm.
warehouse management software, and like how do you actually make all these things talk to each other?
Right, all these
So
separate
that would be
companies like shipping information, inventory information, safety, and critical hazardous substances. I'm sure you got to deal with.
absolutely, yeah. I mean, because you're handling all these different things, right? And then also like I remember him talking to me about like, he was helping with like it was an iPhone storage warehouse, right? And
Yeah,
like
That's
They
cool.
like you like checked your phone like as you're going in and out because they didn't want people like swapping their phone out for
Oh,
like an
that's true. Or
iPhone,
if like they're
whatever, like
shipping
iPhone
out the
12.
new one before they announce it, right? To get it to where they used to
Yes,
be. Like,
they don't want to leak them.
right, because when I
Absolutely.
used to visit my dad, he used to work at one of redacted General Motors facility, right? And if you were gonna go on the floor, because like if you were with someone that was an responsible adult, they let you go on tours in certain places, right? And you'd
Right.
have to go
Right.
either a check your phone in with them, or they put that tape over each camera because
Yeah, because they don't want the photos getting out.
right, they're not going to announce it, but there might be the newest redacted vehicle coming down, the line for the first time. And if you get a picture of that, you've just wasted so much money in PR and marketing that hasn't even been
Yup.
rendered yet. But it's
Yep.
I've seen that too. I don't know if you remember, Jim. We were both scouts back in the day. Do you remember in Atlanta they used to do Scout Day at Lockheed Martin? Like the Boy Scouts
I
could
never
walk through
went,
the. Oh,
but
dude, it was sick.
yeah,
Like
that's
you would
awesome.
have to, they pat you down. Like they had like representatives of each gender and everything, so that you felt comfortable. They made sure you
Wow.
didn't have
Okay.
nothing on you. Because think about it, this is military equipment. Foreign
Yeah,
object
that's
debris is a
true.
real
Yeah,
thing, right?
that's
You don't
true.
want a kid with like a, I don't know, something
This kid's
goofy.
like a Chinese operative,
Yeah,
12-year-old Chinese operative, like getting in there with a spy camera and
you
taking
never
pictures of
know.
the,
Like
the SR-75 Black Hawk or whatever,
yeah,
and it's
black orb. The new
exactly the Black Orb. That's what all the UFO sightings are. It's all the SR-75 Black Orb
black orbs. But
of the.
it's interesting. Like back then, I recall, like I remember clear as day on the plant floor, they had the half of the floor was F-22 Raptors, right? And
Oh, that's
in line, you
cool.
can see them in like different phases of production.
Oh,
Like the
that's
closer
cool.
to the bay door exit, the more done the thing is. So at the edge, you
Yeah,
have this like almost completely like it's everything except for like the coating, right? And at the
nice.
very
Yeah,
back, you have like just the fuselage, no cone, no
just like an
wings.
airframe.
It's
Wow,
awesome to see. And that was the
that's
one thing
cool.
they beat into a bunch of kids like foreign object debris, don't touch it. We're going to know if you touch it. Don't touch it.
Do not touch it.
And I remember
Oh
we were
my
walking
gosh.
past a corridor and I saw this guy and I thought he was just messing with us. But as I became an adult, I realized this was just like, why are there this many kids in my job? And realistically, he walked up to a thing, put his hand on it, and then poked his eye, like looked into a sensor and a door opened. And I was just like, oh, he's just messing with us. That's like some spy stuff in my head.
Oh
But
my
no, like,
gosh.
think about it. This is
It's
what,
legit. Legit.
2008, 2006,
Yeah,
Lockheed Martin had that stuff. It's cool.
absolutely. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yeah, I remember like that. It's kind of funny. So I remember a very different scouting experience in a quote unquote secure location. Right. So we were going to the Capitol building because it was like
Redacted.
well no, I mean it was just like a thing. It
Security
was like
redacted.
security redact. Yeah, so like I'm going through the metal detector at the Capitol building, and this is part of like a big scouting day. It's like scouting day at the Capitol, Georgia
Yeah.
Capitol
They
building.
used to do
Right?
stuff like that. Yeah.
And like I walk through the metal detector, and I'm like, I'm a scout, right? I'm wearing my scout belt buckle, and like I'd remembered to leave like all my knives and stuff in like the car or
Yeah.
whatever, and I didn't have anything on me. But like I walk through, and the metal detector goes off, and they're just like, just go on through, like just keep
Yeah.
going, like it's just your belt, like you're a Boy Scout. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. What are we gonna do? Start a
Yeah.
fight?
But I just thought it was hilarious because it was just like, wow, I could have just brought all my knives and bullshit in here
Yeah.
and
It's
been,
like just look
whatever.
cute.
Yeah.
It's like, huh? No, but it's interesting how
Yeah,
that's changed, right? Like,
it
think about it.
is.
That was
Yeah,
you said Georgia Capitol, right?
it was the Georgia Capitol.
After the series of events redacted that happened at the beginning of 2021, right? Like, people are gonna look at
A
those
whole different
security
way.
thing. It's this. It's a
Well,
little
I
bit
think,
of a relapse of what we saw before 9/11. Like we were kids, so we wouldn't
mhm,
know. But think about it. You just walked through an airport. Like you
yeah,
walked onto the
absolutely.
tarmac.
And now it's a whole different thing. Like now there's going to be a perimeter around that building where it's just like you
Yeah,
have to get checked before you even come within a
because
certain
like
distance of the
Leidos,
building.
the company.
No,
I
no, I'm
think they
not
make like
familiar.
X-rays and like they build parts for like satellites too. But if you go to the
Okay.
airport and you like you're putting your hands up for that
Oh,
spinning.
they're like the scanner people.
Yeah, I think they got a contract for a lot of those TSA machines, Leidos. And if
Okay.
as soon as you hear the name and you see it once, you're gonna start seeing Leidos pop up in every
Everywhere.
industry,
Oh man.
refrigerators, like containment units.
Well, where what I think about it is like you think about like every kid's got a cell phone
Yeah,
nowadays, right? Like Every 12-year-old has a cell phone.
True. And
So you
it
think
probably has
about it,
TikTok on it, you
and
know?
it's got TikTok or whatever on it, right? So you think about it like this, and it's like now, okay, now you have to think about every kid potentially being a source of a huge data leak,
Even on accident.
right?
They may not
Even
intend
on
to,
accident, yeah, and they
but
might not be
if
intentionally
someone
doing it.
hacks my phone and they're just like, okay, I'm gonna put Pegasus software on it, whatever, and then they can see both out of both cameras, up the microphone volume, and I'm
Yep,
walking past a secure meeting or a part of a briefing that I'm not
yep,
supposed to be there. A kid. You're right.
yeah. Or you're taking a tour of the Lockheed Martin facilities as part of the Boy
It
Scouts, and
would
you're looking
never
at
happen
F-22
now.
Raptors, and like,
It wouldn't happen
no, like,
now. You
you
know?
got to leave your phones in the car, kids. Sorry about it.
Yeah, because they took people's like cameras and stuff. Because back then, is people got
Yeah,
to think about a time. Not everyone had a camera on their phone, right? Like I didn't have a phone
yeah.
back then.
And oh my gosh, yeah, and like that's why that's part of the. I feel like that's part of the reason I feel like so strongly like that I'm not a Gen Z, is because I did not grow up with a cell phone,
If that's the
right?
the mark, though,
Like
I feel like Gen Z is just feeling like they're not a part of their own generation
I think that's
because
part of it
we're
too.
so segmented. Like everything. Think about it. How much of your social interaction besides work has been through this or equivalent of this?
Well, I guess a lot of it. But I'm actually getting to the point where I don't actually have social media anymore.
Good. You ain't
Um,
missing
I've
nothing.
I've deleted it because it doesn't do like it
It's
actually
bad for
has
the
the
noggin.
inverse effect. It has the inverse effect, or it does not make me happy.
Yeah,
It
it's
actually
like to
makes me
watch
more
people be
depressed.
perfect somewhere in real life. It's just everyone
Yeah,
puts their best bits on the social media. It makes people
yeah.
have a false sense of, oh, my life's inadequate. I can't be content
Well, there's
because
that. Yeah, there's that aspect of it, and because like, oh, like everybody else is so much better than me,
why is
right?
everyone else so happy? But the reality is they might
But
not be.
they're not happy either. But they're just like, I don't know. I feel like it's almost like people who are very active on social media. I almost wonder if it's like if they're trying, if like they put all this stuff on social media so that they can see it,
Yeah, are you
right? So
living
like
for
they're
the phone? That's what I
like, are
ask
you
people.
buying, or it's like, are you like making the Kool-Aid so that you can drink it?
No, that's seriously, that's what it is. It's putting out
Is
this
that what it
image.
is?
Because think about it. Let me give simple social experiment you can do anywhere you eat, right? You walk
Yeah.
into a nicer restaurant, like something that's above your Chick-fil-A, right? Where you have
Right.
to sit down,
A
get
nice
waited.
sit down
How many
restaurant.
people around you are taking pictures of their food? First question, before they eat it. Second
Mm,
question, are they taking pictures of their food or like the person? That's different. If you're taking, oh, this, I'm going on
right.
a date, I'm taking a picture of the person, great, that's different. How you are taking a picture of the food? Multiple pictures
Mm,
even before they
yeah.
even touch it, right? Like there's this weird he's going to heaven. Look.
Oh, I don't know what was happening with the cat. Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's I don't know, Jim. It's an interesting social experiment. It's rare to see folks around our age because I find myself doing it. If I have a delicious meal, the difference is I'm not
yeah.
posting it anywhere. If I am, it's like my Discord server with my friends or maybe a
Right.
Snapchat group of like a group chat, right? I don't
Right.
have the Instagram anymore. Like I have like I'm not gonna talk about our social media. I got rid of a lot of the crap too because it was making me depressed. During the middle of the
Yeah.
2020, it was just like you
And,
go
and
from the cutest cat you've ever seen to this terrible disaster in the Ukraine war, and it's just like the back and forth
oh, it's
has
like
to
the
have an
whiplash.
effect.
Yeah, like the whiplash from it. And then like to me, it was like the technology has been right, because the way that social media platforms make money is by showing you ads.
Yeah,
And so their incentive is to just keep you on the platform for as long as they can so they can maximize ad revenue. And like so I would sit down and like my brain is I'm just a guy,
yeah,
right?
just
So
some
like
dude.
the social engineering of TikTok, Instagram, whatever, would just like hook into my brain, you know? And I'd be like, oh, after this one, I'll put the phone down.
Yeah, the
I'll go do
doom
other stuff. And then
scroll.
they're like, oh, but like this one. And then like, yeah, so it's like this doom scroll. And so I would sit down and I'd be on, social media for like 2, 3
You don't even
hours.
realize it. It's like I haven't
And
gotten
you don't
groceries.
even think about it.
I haven't,
Yeah. And it's just like, I have done nothing of value, you know? And so
yeah,
like to me, like, yeah, I haven't taken care of myself. I haven't taken care of my house. I haven't taken care of any of my responsibilities. I haven't actually done anything that I actually wanted to do.
right. I'm just sitting
And
here
and
thinking about the
so
things I'm missing out on.
exactly, or I'm not even thinking. Like I'm just like existing and passing time and not actually attribute like I'm not actually doing anything that I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm just here because I'm here.
But
And
you
like
gotta
to me,
admit, like after you
oh,
leave, like you take a step away from that world, it is jarring, right? Because you don't
it
realize
is.
how, like this is my first example. I would when I first started deleting the apps that I would doom scroll through. I first started with deleting the apps, then I found myself reinstalling them, so I deleted the accounts, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you find even after everything's gone, you're subconsciously going to where that app was, you know? That's
Yes.
why
I've
people
done
get
that.
so mad when you move their apps around on their home screen
I've
if
done
they're
that.
it's something else. Like I didn't realize how many
Yep.
times I was clicking, like Reddit or like Discord or like the news. Like when 2020
Yeah.
and 2021, the news just constantly every time something happened.
Yeah. So for me, I still technically have accounts. They're
Mhm.
just I don't have any of the apps on my phone.
Yeah, you're not using them, so you're not
Yeah. Well, so I actually still have them on my
consumed.
computer. I'm not consumed, right? And that's actually to to make that joke like real. Like you think about it, like if you are not receiving a product, you are the product.
Yes.
Like literally, we are being consumed by social media. Like it's like such a mind fuck, right?
Yeah, I
But
think
like I
that's why you
still
say we're
have
not
them.
Gen Z in your head. Because think about it, you're not sitting there doing not nothing. No offense to anyone who likes to do it. You're not doing the TikTok dances. You're not
No,
sitting
I'm not.
there
Absolutely not.
absorbing every single. Like I bought these clothes because I like them, and the lady at the place thought it looked good on me. So I was like, all right, I'll
Yeah,
take your guys' y'all work at a clothing store. I'll take your judgment on it. It wasn't a me taking pictures of myself and posting it to my friends. I might do that tomorrow when I go to the concert because I'm going to take some photos with the folks I'm going with, right? But
absolutely.
it
Yeah,
seems like there has to be an upper limit, right, to what's
I think
healthy.
so. I think so.
Because I used to be
And I just
addicted to like Instagram. You're scrolling.
yeah, yeah, and like I mean, literally like 4 or 5 hours a day.
You don't,
You
and it
know, would
adds up.
be
Your phone calculates how long the apps are active, and I say
yeah.
anyone who is deal like this is an addiction, and it's not being talked
It
about.
is.
I've seen
It is.
commercials about it because like, I'm in the ad block universe. I usually have all my media on PC, so I
Mhm.
block the ads out. But recently, I've been
Yep.
watching a lot of TV with my pop, and it's like they have targeted ads for social media addiction. That's a real thing. People have lost their
Yep.
jobs. It's impossible for us to think of probably, but people lost their jobs
Yep.
not because they said something terrible and they deserve to get fired,
It's they're
but
on their phone all the time.
exactly they just weren't. They could be the smartest person in the world, but they're
Yeah.
distracted.
Yeah.
And I have to be
Absolutely. And
aware of this. Like I work from home,
mhm.
so I market my time. I schedule out my time. Like even if I'm not actively working, I'm working on this project, whether it be in the planning, R&D, or whatever. Like I make sure I get my 40 hours just in case they ever want to audit me. And it's like, there,
Right.
he's actually
Yeah.
getting the
Here's what
work
I am
done.
doing.
And if they ask, like, hey, you guys I've signed away all rights to any of the things I produce. Here's the spreadsheet or the flow chart of this process that has never been mapped out that I've been mapping out over the last hour.
Yep.
It's sad that you have
Yep.
to think like that, but I don't want someone else my age making it bad for all of us, right? I don't.
No.
I'm a hard
Absolutely. Yeah.
worker. I don't know. I like to get the
And
job done.
like and that's part of like working from home, right? Is like you kind of have to be responsible for yourself. And I wonder if like we get to the point where like the companies don't believe that we're capable of doing that.
They don't have
And
to
then
believe it. They have access to the entire computer, right? If the company's ability or willingness
oh,
to
it's
check
true.
that
Yeah.
or not, but here's the reality. Even if I'm sitting there writing on a whiteboard trying to get something hammered out, I am in constant contact most like I would say 80% of the year, right? When we
Yeah.
get to November, and I told my bosses like in November, what am I supposed to be doing? Because no one, I send out all the emails because I work in a big corporate structure, so I can't do everything. I have to ask permission for like certain. I'm not gonna
Mm,
get into details, but certain pieces of projects need certain different teams on them, whether I want it or not, right?
right.
When
Right.
I send out the last email I can send, and I've done everything I can do, I'm sitting there on a prototype build asking for it to be deployed. There's not much else I can do besides
Mm,
maintenance or making something that already exists better. At
right.
last Christmas, everyone took time off except for me. I was just, I took the days off that we got, but I was like, let me go ahead and get caught up on my projects. And I did. Like, there was a point where I was like, I feel bad because I didn't get time off. My manager's not here to approve it if I wanted to. And I'm just kind of sitting here making sure we don't get any emails in the queue, right? Like, after a
Yeah.
certain point, I don't have permission to just start projects without a project manager. I'm not in that level of drip yet.
Right. Well, I think like part of it too is like you're gonna get put in that position pretty quick,
I
right?
would
Where it's
love
just
to
like,
if it can be
Derek,
where
like,
get
because
a small
people will
team
see
together and
that,
do this.
yeah, people will see that work ethic and see that, that competency and just be like, just plug him in. Just plug him in. He's going to create so much value. Just do it. Why haven't we already done this?
Man,
So
I hope you're
I
right,
think
but
that,
it's hard to see, man. Like you know,
yeah,
like corporate structures can be a
no, they're
brain
awful.
drain. Like I work around some of the smartest people I've ever worked with, and I watch them go underutilized with like PhDs
Mhm.
and stuff. So it's like, who am I
Yep.
to want, you know? But I do try my thing, and I think my saving grace, what helps me in that corporate structure of America, I always just go into two things. On the positive side, I try to help everyone I can. I don't care who
Yep.
you are. Like I have made presentations for directors. I have done data analysis for teams that aren't even mine because they needed someone that knew how to do it. And I was like, I'll help you out. And those networking connections, great. On the other side, I have to take a step back and make sure I relax because at the end of the day, it's a job. I have to remember that. Like
Hmm. Yep.
I'm a
Yep.
number on their employee board. I am easily replaceable. Like people tell themselves they're not. Wait until you get sick.
Yep.
Well, get
Yep.
sick at a bad company. My company's good. They thankfully have the things in place, but you know what it's like to get sick at a company that doesn't care about you. And they've already started replacing you by the time you get back. And it's really hard to see like
Yeah.
folks that are great at their job go on like maternity leave, right? And then their position's filled. They might
Hmm.
they might not fire them outright, but they might move them around, and it's just not fair to that person that went through the
Yeah. And
systems
it's
that were
tough,
given them.
right? Yeah. Absolutely. It's tough, right?
Yeah.
Because so as a business owner, I can kind of see it from both sides, right? Where it's like, the purpose of the company is to make money, and to a certain extent, like, you have to fill that person's shoes if they leave. Um, and yeah, so like that's kind of the tough end of it is like, how do you do that without losing kind of your humanity? Um, and that's tough.
Those
That's
HR
very tough.
folks got to make tough decisions, but I do think there's, like you said, right, all in moderation. I try not to roast them too much because I am currently employed and I would like to stay that way. But from past experiences, I've seen folks genuinely struggle. Not and
Mhm.
it to the point where it didn't even affect their work. It affected like someone's view of them. And
Yeah,
sometimes if
with
the
social media.
right, if the person in power doesn't like you enough, it doesn't matter if you're the best person for the job. I've seen folks that deserve the job be gone and I stay because I just knew how to either keep my mouth shut or was a little bit more palatable, which is saying something cuz you know I have a hard time of I can't watch something fall apart easily. It's hard for me to sit there and watch
Yeah,
something fall apart without saying something.
yeah,
It's not me,
yeah.
you know.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, at a certain point, like, you do have to just be like,
It's if they wanted me to be a manager, I would be, you know.
just give them the old fadeaway.
I'm just gonna sit here in my little corner, do my job, make
Yep.
sure that we don't miss anything, and if
Yep.
there's an opportunity, it's so soul sucking sometimes, man.
Yep.
Especially in the
Dude, I
regulatory
understand it.
world, because like you want to do all these things that are great, and then everyone's got to hit corporate red tape, but you get hit by what I call mental red tape. You know,
Where it's just like, I don't even know if I can do this,
no,
like,
not
type
even
stuff.
that. It's there. I know other companies that are doing similar, not the same thing we're doing, but like we know it's been proven. This is a feasibility
Mm,
study that you could prove tomorrow. But the reality is, we've been doing this so long. I'd rather spend all this money on X, Y, and Z that we don't need instead of this very small change of mind that will actually help
mm,
everyone because you get folks that are like, this is going to replace my job. No, you're just going to be working in this system instead, and you're going to be a lot more
right.
efficient. And the secret is you're going to have to work less, and that's a good thing.
Well, but then again, like, I can see it from the other side, right? Is like, the business is going to be like,
Well,
okay, well,
let's
in
just
order
fire everyone.
to, yeah, like, if that person's more efficient, it means I need one less of them.
And you get twice the work. Good job.
And that's
Congrats.
tough, right? Yeah, but then it's only the same amount of work because the process is more efficient. And so that's the tough part of it too, right? Is like, yeah, I mean, it's just,
It's
you
a
gotta,
weird
because
dichotomy. It is a
the
checks and
corporation is going to do
corporation
that.
is a spring, and it pulls my patience apart and compresses my will to work.
Yes, 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 it is. Oh
Gosh,
gosh,
we've got another 50 minutes of
we've
not
got a whole nother
podcasts. This
podcast.
is just a
We've got a whole
long
nother
preload.
podcast.
This is
This
the
is.
long preload.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, Derek, it's been great.
Dude,
I
I've had
freaking
a
love.
great
I
time. Even if we
fucking
don't
love
use
you.
this, I'm glad that we're. It's a good idea to keep recording for a touch, but I do need to like
Yeah.
start
Yeah,
getting
I got
ready
to get
for
to my
some dinner, and I need
responsibilities
to
and
start
stuff like
editing the
this.
episode proper.
All right. I love you, buddy.
Love you too, Jim. I'll see you next week.
We'll see you next time.
Man,
Hold it before we leave.
hmm.
Do you need me to send you my Streamlabs of this, or do you have it?
uh, just sit on it for now. Like the
Okay.
Streamlabs of this one, I got the other stuff I need. I'm gonna edit the episode. We can decide later. Maybe it's an archive thing. Maybe it's another YouTube video. I don't know. We can talk about it.
I don't know. I think we throw it up there and just say, hey, like this is the. We just maybe we just put it up raw too. Like we don't even edit it. We just say, hey, this is just a couple guys hanging out and chatting. If you want to listen to it, great. If not, all right.
Yeah, I'll have to
And
get.
just throw it out there.
That
But
was one thing. I was like, from the cost perspective, I do need to buy some video editing software because
mm,
I for the YouTube, it's like we're just putting up, like a picture,
it's
a
just a
title.
picture.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
just
yeah.
using like the
Windows
free,
Movie Maker.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much the equivalent of Windows Movie Maker. But for something like this, I would probably I need to go get some
Yeah.
software. So it might
That's
be
fair.
out. We didn't date it. What
We
date
don't
it?
know. We don't know.
It'll be,
Exactly.
maybe they'll see it. Maybe they
Oh,
don't.
just to touch base on the back of the things that we were looking up,
Hmm,
the Titan submersible is being investigated by the United States Coast Guard
it's nice.
for its analysis, and that's it.
Really?
Yep,
I figured the
yep.
Navy would want to get in on that too, because submarines, right?
Nah, well, it's a Coast Guard because it's a civilian vessel. It's the Coast Guard.
I
If it was a military thing, it would be the Navy, but
yeah.
because it's civilian, it's Coast Guard.
I think didn't allegedly. Let me start with a big old allegedly. Wasn't there like a Chinese submarine, like unverified, that they were worried got destroyed?
I don't know.
I
I don't
can't
know anything about
confirm
that
it,
one.
but like yeah,
Can
the
neither confirm
story
nor deny.
was yeah, I can either confirm it. The story was they made some anti-submarine snares and got caught in one of their own, which is hilarious on paper, but really sad if true, because that means an entire crew just got
Ooh.
by their own
Yeah, I don't
design.
know. That would be very unfortunate, but yeah,
Allegedly.
I won't comment any more on that because I have no idea what I'm
Yeah,
talking
it could
about.
be fake
But
news, like
could
could
be.
be.
But anyway, I love you, Derek.
Love you too, Jim.
We'll see you later.
See you next week, bud.